Hey, Joriel here, and this is not usually what I do, but I wanted to talk about some of Bleeding Edge's small details that really add to the experience. I don't see anyone else talking about these, so I thought I'd make sure they were somewhere on the internet because I think the team deserves praise where it's due. And the first thing I want to talk about is hit stun. Specifically, the animation the enemy goes through when you hit them with a melee attack. Most action games have 1 or 2 different hit stun animations, but Bleeding Edge has 4, which change depending on the direction the attack came from. So if someone has an attack that swings to the left, the hit stun animation has the enemy rolling to the left in tandem. This happens in all 4 directions. This adds a lot to how good hitting something feels in the game. Tanks who can't be hit stunned still actually animate in these 4 directions when they really did not have to. The animators committed to making these hits feel powerful, and I can really appreciate that extra work. Next time you're on an action game, check how many different hit stun animations the enemies have. I promise you, it won't be as much as Bleeding Edge. And speaking of animating, the animation of the melee strings in the game also deserve a lot of praise. When you delay your melee string, the character usually holds the animation until your next input, and if you don't press anything, goes back into their normal stance. These are usually just an extension of the animation, but in Bleeding Edge, some characters go through extra elaborate animations to really sell the follow-through of the attack. Miko is one of the best ones. On the first hit of her string, if you delay it, she will lean really far onto her foot. And if you delay the hit of her third string, she'll swing into a pretty cool battle stance. Stuff like this is not necessary, but adds character in places you might not look for, and quite a few characters have it. You can tell the team really love intricate battle animations.
I like making it, I like working with animators and working on the touch and feel.
Another interesting detail of the melee animations is Damon's graffiti blade. It actually swings paint onto the ground when you attack. This is a really cool detail you might not notice if you don't look for it. Now, if only I could actually paint something. The world itself also has some pretty interesting details. If you did not think about it before, you actually digitize into the stage the Misfits fight in, which is why some of the effects in the game are blocky or look like they come out in square. Prime examples being stuff like Miko's stasis and the blood effects in the game. These things aren't something you'd immediately notice, but they're behind the scenes carrying the aesthetic of the game. Bleeding Edge animation is rife with really cool details, and the sound design is no different. The team put in a little extra effort here too. Not to only make the moves feel good, but sound good. In most games, abilities have one sound and that's it. But some of Bleeding Edge's abilities cycle through several pitches, so each time you use it, it doesn't sound exactly the same. This is especially noticeable on Nidhogger's power slide, which makes him sound like he's hitting a different note every time he slides. One last aspect of the game I want to touch on is the stage design. While I can't cover everything, I do want to show some of the stuff I really like, starting with my favorite stage, Jersey Sink. So there's tons of graffiti all over the stage and it's pretty unique. Really gives it that punk vibe. There's also a sign up here that says, "Hey Hacks," and if you go over to read the rest, it reads, "Hey Hacks fans." So I'm assuming that's the show the Misfits put on. It's called Hacks. I'm just assuming here, but that's pretty cool lore if so. And over here you have this Kulev sign, D for Damon I'm assuming, and then you have the crowd. These are on every stage, you can find them all over. What I find funny is that the crowd is 2D and actually follows the camera if you move it. You have the Titan unit here. It has "Your Sin" spray painted on it. And if you go under the stage, you have what I assume is a box for the devs. Not sure what it does, but it might have been used for development or control something in the stage. Pretty cool secret nonetheless. So Boneyard is pretty cool because a lot of the structures are shaped like animals. This crane is a T-Rex. This whole building is an anglerfish. This is a shark. This robot guy is just over here with an atomic bomb for some reason. On Aqueducts, you have this truck spider thing, and then this guy in the ceiling. And that's just a few of the things I like in the game. There is a lot more to appreciate. I hope this video gave you some more appreciation for the Bleeding Edge team. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.